great sex starts before you get in the bed. Say, for example, football players. I don't care how well they know how to play the game. They have to practice during the week before the game.
Hi, we are back with another episode on the Erectile Dysfunction Radio podcast. Today we are joined by Charles Hilson. Charles is a patient advocate and a penile rehabilitation expert who began a 4-year journey with erectile dysfunction following prostate cancer surgery. Charles' personal quest to restore his intimate life left him and his wife completely frustrated due to the lack of information and resources available at that time. Then, one physician shared his knowledge of blood flow and penile rehabilitation, and it changed Charles's life. Charles restored his erectile function, which propelled the start of a 15-year career in penile health and wellness, leading him to establish an organization that is dedicated to education about penile rehabilitation. Today, Charles is going to join us to talk about vacuum devices, which is an intervention both for penile rehabilitation and generally for erectile dysfunction. So, Charles, we really appreciate you joining us for this episode. And just to get us started, if you could just give us an overview of what exactly a vacuum device is for erectile dysfunction and how does it work?
Thank you very much, Mark, for allowing me to join your platform. I've enjoyed so many of your podcasts, and I think we want to look at it from a different perspective. You know, I had prostate surgery, like you mentioned, 19 years ago. I was 51. No problem with erections. Well, I knew it would take a year to 2 years for the nerves to grow back, and I waited. Well, 2 years turned into 3 years, turned into 4 years, turned into 5 years. I'm still waiting. I wanted to enjoy great sex just like any other man. Well, the doctor told me to try a vacuum erection device. Well, I didn't need a vacuum before I had the surgery, and so I just said, well, why in the world do I want to use a vacuum? Well, I got the vacuum immediately. In the kit, there are some rings that you can wear for sex. Well, I'm excited. I put the rings on the first night. I screamed and I couldn't wait to get it off. It hurt so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it off and I said, I'm never going to put this ring on again. And so I just started using the vacuum. I liked how my penis was looking. And so I started using the vacuum every day. Oh, it just changed my life. And I would start using it twice a day. So I went back to my doctor. I said, Doc, let me tell you what I did. And why you all didn't tell me about this earlier. First lady told me, well, we don't teach it. Maybe you ought to teach it. So this is how I got started. I'm currently working right now in the city of Houston, Texas, at the largest medical center in the world. I work with the #1 cancer center in the Anderson Hospital, and they have trusted their patients with me for rehabilitation. First thing I want to tell men is this. It's as simple as ABC. This is what we missed out. From the time we were born, we come out of our mother's womb as little boys, we had erections. We were not having sex. When we became adult, when we became adult, we wanted to have sex. Only thing we had to say was, come on, baby. We was ready. We had a healthy penis. Then we had that great sex to get to that great climax, C. Why? Because it's delightful. It's enjoyable. But men, guys, if you don't do A, you don't get regular erections, you're not going to enjoy B, that great sex. C, you're not going to reach that climax together. D, E is now reversed to ED. Why is it ED? Because of F, the erectile function. See, the biggest mistake I found out men make, so many of my patients come in, we only try to get an erection just for sex. Well, we do need erections for sex, but I hate to tell you, that's not the way your body was created. Your body was created to have erections every day. Because when you have an erection, your penis is full of blood. Blood supplies oxygen. Oxygen. Every cell in the human body needs oxygen for rehabilitation. So my program, what we use at CBH Medical Rehab, We use a vacuum erection device. I'm going to tell you now, Mark, the vacuum that we use is the Positive 3000. It's manufactured by Tim Medical right here in the United States. It is a FDA cleared medical device. This is what we teach. Men, get up in the morning. You used to wake up every morning with an erection. Let's do some erections in the morning. Get up, empty your bladder. Get 8 to 10 erections in the morning. 5 to 10 minutes. So your penis will get hard, go down. Get hard, go down. Well, that's the way you build muscles. And the penis is made up of smooth muscles. So you are exercising that muscle. Then at night, give me 8 to 10 more erections minimum at night. That's over 20 erections in one day. Kind of like it was when you were a teenager.
Yeah. So Charles, if I'm hearing you correctly, I think what you're trying to get across to the listeners is that the idea that I think many people who experience erectile dysfunction, whether that's stemming from a prostate issue, like prostate cancer, a prostatectomy, or that is just a function of their psychology or their physiology, there's a lot of focus on, well, I need an erection for sex, without the recognition that a proper rehabilitation process is involves having erections not necessarily related to sex. And the rehabilitation process that you're describing involves, multiple, sometimes tens of erections in a day that are not geared at all towards sex. And it sounds like too much of the focus that men place on is that I need it when I need it, but not really thinking about the bigger picture of how erections have historically worked, for that person, and how they should continue to work.
That is exactly right, Mark. Great sex starts before you get in the bed. Say, for example, football players. I don't care how well they know how to play the game. They have to practice during the week before the game. So just because a man remembers what he used to do, that does not mean his body remembers. And we men hate to fail. It's embarrassing. We'll get to the point we won't even try. Mark, I meet with patients, yes, prostate cancer. But what about a man? He's a widower, hadn't been married in years, his wife has passed or whatever. Men are hate to get involved with someone because they do not want to fail. And so it's embarrassing. He'll rather stay alone. So what we teach a man to do is this. Let's start getting erections every day, something that you can do. And what are you using? You're using your own blood.
Yeah.
No.
So Charles, to that end, could you share with our listeners what exactly is this vacuum device? I don't know if you happen to have one on hand where you are that you could show. If not, if you could just describe it. Yeah.
Mark, this is the vacuum erection device that we use. This is made by the Tim Medical Company, Positive 3000. It has been around for years. As a matter of fact, it's FDA cleared. This is not a sex toy. So this is what I encourage men to do. Let's start getting erections like you did when you was a young guy. Go on, get up in the morning. If you got to go to work, get up 5 to 10 minutes earlier. Empty your bladder. You're going to put your unit together just like this. So a man, so he does not have to shave all his pubic hairs, we're going to take water-based lubricant. We'll go all the way around the top, like putting on toothpaste on a brush, so we get a good seal. Then I encourage men to stand up when they do it. Stand up, put your penis in, push it up against the body, relax. Start the motor. If you'll notice, the machine is going to start pulling blood into your penis. Soon as you feel discomfort, stop the vacuum. Let your penis stay erect with that blood for 15 to 20 seconds. Release it. You had one erection. Let's get more blood into the penis. Let's get another erection. Again, pour blood into the penis. Discomfort, stop. 15, 20, 30 seconds, release it. Mark, I like for men to get 8 to 10 erections in the morning minimum. I mean, your penis is going to get hard, go down, get hard, and go down. That's the way you build muscles.
So the idea is to encourage blood flow to the penis. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's the way the body was created. Mark, we don't think twice when we get up in age. We need glasses. We can't read without them. You just go get glasses. When your body changes, we get older. The only thing that does not change with men is their memory of what they used to do. Men remember what we used to do, and that's what we want. But you're forgetting the main part, the erections that you had. And we want you to do it at night too. What it does for a man is this. It makes a man feel so good to start seeing his penis get good and hard again. Whether he's having sex or not. Just seeing your penis get good and hard means so much to a man. Now, we have techniques for sex. We got oral medication. We have, which is Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra. We have injections. We also have surgical procedures that I work with doctors that does a lot of that. We also have in this kit a restriction ring that a man can wear. Mark, I want to go back one step for men to understand is this. When you don't get erections, you're not getting oxygen to the cells of the penis. Men will notice, the first thing you'll notice when you're not getting enough oxygen to the cells, it's kind of like you're trying to fill a bathtub up with water and you don't have a stopper in the drain secure. So water rises up and slowly start leaking down before you can take a bath, so you cut more water on. With a man, the penis get hard. It slowly starts going down. So we take a Viagra or Cialis to fill it back up. But it will go a period of time. It will be like you trying to fill your bathtub up with water. And you don't even have a stopper in the drain. And we men hate to fail. We rather just quit trying. The next thing you'll notice when your penis does not get the blood it needs, it will start playing the game we used to play as kids, Mark. Hide and go seek. Your penis starts shrinking up on you. You start looking for it's called atrophy. You know it. So these are the type of people with patients we try to help. Get erections whether you ever have sex or not. We have techniques for sex. This is the way your body was created from the time we were born. We had erections all the time.
Yeah. And Charles, it sounds like this is a use it or lose it perspective or way of looking at this, right? That if, in particular, after like a prostatectomy, when it is more difficult or more challenging to achieve an erection, men who are able to use it and get that blood flow going are going to see much better results than men who are waiting around for things to repair themselves.
Exactly. We have, in today's world, we have much better techniques for sex. But still, though, you need a healthy penis. The penis needs blood. There's not an organ in the human body that can sustain itself without blood because the cells will die from lack of oxygen. Men need to get to the basics. The basics is daily erection. That's the way your body was created. That's why you woke up with erections in the mornings.
Yes. So to that end, for men who are experiencing erectile dysfunction without any prostate issues necessarily, without having had a major surgery like a radical prostatectomy or whatnot, is the vacuum device effective in helping those men resolve ED or improve erections?
Mark, that is a great question. As a matter of fact, we are starting now to get to men who are have not had surgery or something, who can still get an erection. Think about this, Mark. You go to a gym. There's a piece of equipment to exercise every part of the human body except one, the penis. It's a muscle. So that's why we use a vacuum. And in today's world, so many things are happening, health conditions. Men are not getting enough erections. They are beginning to use oral medication to enhance sex. What about using your own blood? to enhance sex by exercising the muscle. So we are getting now to younger guys. And let's face it, in today's world, more and more people looking at magazines, porn, and everything. It's affecting younger guys. I am getting patients now, 30, 35, 40, who are having problems with erections because we are trying to go from A to Z instead of A, B, C, D. You need to get daily erections. I feel, my opinion, we could help prevent a lot of erectile dysfunction. So that's why I got patients now, 45, 50, who still can get an erection, but their partner will say it's not as hard as it used to be. It's not as firm as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest problem, Mark, another thing, the only way a man can get an erection, he must become aroused. Once a man is in bed, he'll quit thinking about his beautiful partner and start worrying about what's between his legs. And when we become tense, nervous, and anxious, you just cut the faucet off in the bathtub, filling it up with water.
Yeah, Charles, it's clear to me that you have spoken to a lot of men about this, because I think your level of insight is really, really like remarkable, just in terms of like what men experience and what it's like to go through this. So I may definitely appreciate that. Now, in terms of the device itself, I want to kind of get back there. It looks kind of bulky, and not necessarily as easy as swallowing a pill, or something that might be a little bit easier to handle. Do men ever report back or complain about the size of this device, feeling like it's too intrusive or invasive?
Well, Mark, if we look at this device just for sex, you're missing the point. Okay, I don't need to teach no man how to have sex. You know, men know how to do that. What we teach at CBH is daily exercise, because that's the way your body was created. So you do this, and I encourage men to do another thing too, Mark. Let their wife or partner enjoy the show. Put on a show for them, guys. Your penis is in a trophy case. Sometimes they can kick you out $1 to make a little change. Have fun doing it. Erections is important.
I like the idea of integrating some of these interventions and treatments into like the sexual script or the sexual repertoire for that couple. Now, are there any potential downsides or risks associated with a vacuum device and or with the use of rings in conjunction with the vacuum device?
Well, the rings is strictly for sex, and I don't want a man to use it for a couple of weeks. You want to get the penis healthy first. The downside is if you don't get erections. You mentioned if you don't use it, you lose it. I don't like that. You got to use it. If you don't get blood in it, you're going to lose it. Now, babies are not using it. Little boys don't use it. They have blood, though. You wake up in the morning, change a baby's diaper, he may skeet at you. That baby ain't having no sex. Mark, that's what men are missing, because they want to go straight to sex. Now, we have all the different other things. You know about them. Injections, surgery, restriction rings, pills. That is for sex. Work on your body first. Get your body ready to get in the bed. Sex will come. You'll enjoy sex.
Yeah, if I'm hearing your message is there are a whole slew of interventions that are designed for an immediate, in the moment use that are meant to be short lived. In other words, like they're not necessarily going to change the underlying fundamentals. Whereas the idea behind the vacuum device is that, on the one hand, I think it can be used in conjunction with those rings for an in-the-moment intervention, but that is not the focus of this device, and certainly not what you are educating the men that you work with towards. This is really meant to be like a longer term investment towards a much more sustainable natural erection process through treating and viewing the penis as like any other part of the body that has to be worked on and worked out outside of the context of like sexual intercourse or sexual activity.
Yes, this is why I am used at the major hospital cancer centers, especially after a person's had surgeries or something, because blood flow is too important. You think, Mark, think of a diabetic. If a diabetic don't get blood down to his foot, he can lose a toe, a foot, or a limb. The penis needs blood also. Not just when you get in the bed, I want it to work right there. No. You need to start getting your penis healthy. So that is what CBH Medical Rehab provides. We don't provide just the equipment. No, no, no. We provide all the instructions, all the coaching.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's a broader perspective here that I think is important for our listeners to hear about, whether they have been through prostate cancer and prostate cancer treatment or not, which is there is a much broader outlook and perspective here that you're sharing with our listeners, and that is that penile health and sexual health go way beyond just what you're doing in the moment and just getting things toward sexual activity, that there is a much bigger picture that men would benefit from. And I think that that also is true with the psychology that goes into erections and psychology that goes into sexual activity in general. If you just show up at the last minute and then you start trying to get your head in the right place, you're probably too late. Right? It really requires thoughtfulness and intent long before a sexual encounter like ever unfolds. And it sounds like that is your message on a physical way as well, which is like you've got to be like maintaining and taking care of and ensuring that the healthy processes that oftentimes are just natural for younger men have to really be maintained post-surgery and as men age if they want to have like healthy erections like into their future.
Mark, that is so true. There's a disease that goes around called living. Living has a lot of side effects. And one of the side effects is not waking up with that early morning erection, not having erections all the time like we used to. But we want it to work. And so everything changed for a man but his memory. And that is what we try to emphasize on. We don't just concentrate on sex. What it does for a man mentally is priceless. I've been there. I know. And it affects a man when he cannot get an erection. It's devastating. So that's why we deal with the main line, the base. How do a man need to have erections for great sex? Let's do it daily. We used to. We used to have erection every day and did not have sex.
Yeah, and that is a really, really, I think, powerful message and takeaway. And it's hitting me in a different way, just in terms of how I'm thinking about that. Generally, I think about that much more from the psychological standpoint, but I think what you're bringing to the table is even from a physical standpoint and just like a shift in general headspace about like, you know, men who are thinking about not just resolving their ED, but also about maintaining healthy erections into the future, because life is a reality that we all face, and aging is a reality that we all are up against. And the idea that things are just going to work the way they always have in perpetuity is probably an unhelpful misnomer. I really, really appreciate just the perspective and the message of the quicker men get on top of penile health, whether that's post-surgery or unrelated to surgery, the better the long-term outcomes are going to be.
Mark, I always ask patients one question. I'll ask you the same question for your listeners. Does it make sense getting daily erections? Does that make sense to start getting erections for other than just trying to have sex that particular moment? It makes a lot of sense because you are going to stretch your penis, get some size back, get it healthy, feel good about who you are. And then when you get ready for sex, we got things for sex.
Yeah, that is a really, really powerful message. And I think our listeners are really going to benefit just from hearing your perspective, your take. I also want to make sure that we link to CBH in the notes to this episode. For any men who want to learn more about the services that are offered, from what I understand, that these services are not just limited to the Houston area at this point. There are programs that men can access and engage with regardless of where they are in the country and really throughout the world. So Charles, has been really, really helpful to have you on to deliver this message. I think it's going to be like super helpful for our listeners, whether or not they use vacuum devices in the end. I think just the general mentality and approach is super important for them to hear. So once again, I want to thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you very much for allowing me to join you and your audience. And if we can ever help you with CBH Medical Rehab, we'll be more than happy to do it. Again, thank you very much, Mark.